So yesterday I actually filmed this video already, or a similar video, but it didn't really turn out that well, so I thought I'd refilm it. And before any other thing, please just ignore my hair. I have no idea what it's doing right now. It's doing its own thing, okay? I'll just let it do that. So, should you study in Korea? This is a question that I have received a few times from different people, and I thought I would talk about it today because I think someone probably like a few years back now asked me to do a video about this topic, so I finally got to actually do it. I would like to give you a short answer, but obviously there is no one real answer to this question because it depends on who you are and what you want to do. But if you find yourself wondering about this, if you find yourself thinking about going to Korea and studying there, the answer is probably yes. And now I'm not saying this because I think that studying in Korea is something I would recommend to everyone, because it most definitely it's not. It's not that. After all, I would think that if you find yourself thinking about that question, probably yeah. Why not? Why not? Because if you are someone who's thinking about going abroad and living there, you probably are the type that will flourish the most in that sort of environment. People who I would not recommend going to Korea and studying there are people who don't want to do that, who aren't even thinking about doing it because they're content doing what they're doing. Because it's not for everyone. It's not. Going to another country, especially going to a country that is Korea, which is, depending on where you're coming from, it's very different culture, like very, very, very different. And it's not just that the culture is different, but that it's a very competitive society and culture, and also a rather closed culture still, although this is changing. It's changing with, you know, obviously a lot of foreigners are coming to Korea and living there, so I have noticed people's attitudes changing dramatically. Well, I wouldn't say dramatically, maybe that's too dramatic, but a lot. Since just 4 years ago when I went to Korea for the first time. Or actually it's 5 years already. 5 years? Yeah, 5 years. Oh my god. Anyway, but because of these two reasons, it's Korea being very competitive and still kind of closed and having this nationalistic atmosphere to it. For these two reasons, Korea is, if you're going to study in Korea for a full degree, I'm talking about full degrees here, by the way, not just being an exchange student. If you're thinking about going to anywhere as an exchange student, go, do that, definitely do that. I 100% recommend it to anyone, really, because I think it is a wonderful experience that you're going to have. But going somewhere full-time, and especially if you're going to study in that language, is going to be quite a different experience, because you are going to have to try to immerse yourself in that culture and learn their language and communicate with people in their language. It's going to be different, and it's going to be, let's be honest here, it's not going to be easy. Although I do think that it might be possible for some people if that's the attitude that you have. Because the most important thing always is your attitude. And so if you have a good attitude towards anything, you will most probably have a good time. And if you have a shitty attitude, you're going to have a shitty time. So it really depends on you. But even if you have the most open-minded, positive attitude, you might still face some things that, like in any country, if you're going to live in another country and you try to learn a new language and fully immerse yourself, there are going to be times when it's not easy. Because some things, and it depends on the person, what's going to be the most difficult thing for everyone. We all have our own things that we take for granted, or things that are values, or things like that we really stand by. And when we find ourselves in situations that don't agree with those thoughts or beliefs or opinions that we might have on things, it's going to be challenging. Yeah. But as for this question, should you study full-time in Korea? Why the hell not, really? I mean, there has been times in my life, during these 4 years, it's been a roller coaster. I'm not saying that Korea is a bad country or that living abroad is a bad thing, because it definitely is not. It's definitely the opposite. But again, it's going to be challenging, and that means that sometimes you might have a hard time. But through those hard times, if you just go through it all, you will be a much improved person. So at the end of this all, I mean, I still have 1 year left, but right now, where I'm now, after I guess having some experience with this thing, though these again are just my experiences, someone else might have other experiences, but I can't guarantee that it's going to be ups and downs. It's going to be challenging, obviously, especially if you go to a country and you start studying at a university in a language that you don't really even know. Like, what the fuck? Who can expect that to be easy? But yeah, I don't regret it at all. And I would recommend it to anyone who really thinks that they want to do it, because if you have the attitude, you will go through anything, and you will always gain something through any kind of challenging thing, because those you can't really grow as much if we never really have a challenging time. So that was for today's video. I hope to see you in my next video, and if you have any suggestions, I'm sorry, I can't speak English anymore because I've been in Finland for 4 months now, and I'm finally going back to Korea in 2 weeks. Actually, less than 2 weeks now. That's kind of scary. Anyway, so I will see you in my next video, and I love you all, and bye!